is Genesis 38. Tamar gives birth to twins by her father-in-law, Judah. That time, Judah left his brothers and went down to stay with a man of Odom named Herah. There, Judah met the daughter of a Canaanite man named Sua. He married her and made love to her. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son who was named Yor. She conceived again and gave birth to a son and named him Onan. Gave birth still to another son and named him Salah. It was a Kizib that she gave birth to him. Judah gave a wife to Yor, his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Owen, "Sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to raise up offspring for your brother." Onan knew that the child would not be his, so whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground to keep him from breeding offspring to his brother. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death also. Judah then said to his daughter-in-law Tamar, "Live as a widow in your father's household until my son Salah grows up." For he thought he may die too, just like his brothers. So Tamar went to her father's household. For a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter of Sua, died. When Judah had recovered from his grief, he went up to Timnah to men who were shearing his sheep, and his friend Huram the Adullamite went with him. When Tamar was told, "Your father-in-law is on his way to Timnah to shear his sheep," she took off her widow's clothes, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance in Anem, which is on the road to Taman. When she saw that Salah had not grown up, she had not given him as his wife. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. Not realizing she was his daughter-in-law, he went over to her by the roadside and said, "Come now, let me sleep with you. And what will you give me to sleep with you?" She asked. "I will send you a young goat from my flock." He said, "Will you give me something, a ledge, until you send it?" She asked. He said, "What pledge should I give you?" "Your seal and its cord, and the staff in your hand," she answered. She gave them to her, and so he gave them to her and slept with her, and she became pregnant by him. After she left, she took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again. Meanwhile, Judah set a young goat by his friend the Elamite in order to place his pledge from the woman, but he did not find her. He asked the men who lived there, "Who is the shrine prostitute who beside the road of Anem? There hasn't been any shrine prostitute. There hasn't been a shrine prostitute there," they said. So he went back to Judah and said, "I didn't find her. Besides, the men who lived there said there hasn't been any shrine prostitute there." Then Judah said, "I let her keep what she has, or will become a laughingstock. After a while, I sent her this young goat, but you didn't find her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution. As a result, she is now pregnant." Judah said, "Bring her out and have her burned to death." As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law, "I am pregnant by the man who owns this," she said, and she added, "See if you recognize whose seal, cord, and staff these are." And Judah recognized them and said, "She is more righteous than I, since I won't give her to my son Salah." And he did not sleep with her again. When the time came for her to give birth, there were 2 boys in her womb. As she was giving birth, one of them put out his hand, so the midwife took a scarlet thread and tied it on his breast and said, "This one came out first." But when he drew back his hand, his brother came out, and she said, "So this is how you have broken out." And he is named Perez. And his brother, who had scarlet thread on his wrist, came out, and his name is Zerah. So, I'll see you chapter 39.